am the CHALL, your Doncaster Rovers channel, and welcome to today's episode of the DRFC Daily Reports. Today, it's the end of match week 2. Now, of course, we do have a game coming at 3 o'clock today, which is Rochdale versus Portsmouth. So, of course, the table will change after today in favour of either Rochdale or Portsmouth. And basically, we're going to be sharing with you the other results from this weekend, from yesterday, and also talk a little bit about Moore's reaction from the performance yesterday against Charlton. So we're also going to have the league table showing as well. But yes, match week 2 for the Saturdays is over. It was, of course, the first weekend. It was a very specific weekend in terms of the history books, because it was the first weekend where we had this fan pilot program where 1,000 fans were permitted inside the stadium, socially distanced, and temperature checked before they got in. And, you know, I could definitely say that project was probably a success. I definitely think it's a success. So whether they're going to try it with Premier League grounds, obviously none in the North East with the likes of Newcastle, and obviously non-league clubs like Gateshead and people like that, they won't have their, you know, stadiums, and probably Sunderland won't either. But it should be interesting to see what stadiums they pick, if they do pick them, for next weekend. So it should be an interesting watch. But for the Charlton fans against Doncaster, it wasn't worth the trip because they got beat 3-1. But to be fair, they did applaud the players after they, you know, came off, and I could hear a slight few boos at half time, probably towards the owners. But you know, I mean, Charlton, what can they do? They're on a transfer embargo. They can't sign anyone, and interesting fact, they were going to sign John Jules. They were right up to sign him, and then transfer embargo came in, and then we got him. So, you know, it's one of those things, isn't it? But John Jules was one of our star performers yesterday, and I couldn't fault it. And do you know what the funniest thing is? We performed better, and to be fair, I'm going to take Crystal Palace as an example. We performed better against Crystal Palace when we got beat 2-0 in the FA Cup a couple of years ago than Man U did yesterday. They got beat 3-1, so we performed better against Palace than Man U did 2 years ago, and we performed better 2 years ago than Man U did yesterday. So, you know, that's a bit of a joke, but but I'll take it. But in terms of the games, yesterday we performed better in our 3-1 than Man U did in their loss 3-1, so I'll take it, you know. Maybe we can face Man U now. No, they'll probably be fired up for it. They got Luton in the Cup, in the Carabao Cup, so they'll be up for it. And yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Since I've got a free day Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm going to watch the Carabao Cup highlights as well. So there we go. So let's go into then the other scores from Saturday in League One, and then head into the league table. AFC Wimbledon 4, Plymouth Argyle 4, Blackpool 2, Swindon Town 0, Bristol Rovers 0, Ipswich Town 2, Burton Albion 2, Accrington Stanley 1, Hull City 1, Krill Alexandra 0, MK Dons 1, Lincoln City 2, Oxford United 0, Sunderland 2, Peterborough United 2, Fleetwood Town 1, Shrewsbury Town 1, Northampton Town 2, and Wigan Athletic 2, Gillingham 3. So let's go into the league table, and 3 clubs with 100% records: Ipswich, Lincoln, and of course Hull City. Lincoln and Hull City behind Ipswich Town on goal difference, and of course it won't be any change to that top 3, because of course Portsmouth only drew their last game against Shrewsbury, and Rochdale lost 3-1 to Swindon. So of course if Rochdale win, they'll be on 3 points. If Portsmouth win, they're on 4 points, and of course a draw will give Rochdale their first points of the league and Portsmouth on 2 points. But at the top of this table, in the top 9, joining Hull in the playoffs, is Doncaster Rovers, Sunderland and Plymouth, with Northampton just outside on goal difference, and Accrington and Blackpool on 3 points make up the first 9. Going into the next 8 teams then, from 10th to 18th, we got Fleetwood, of course, on 3 points, as well as Charlton, Swindon, Burton, Gillingham, Peterborough and Wimbledon. Like I said, Portsmouth, of course, yet to play a game, and of course they'll be on 4 points if they beat Rochdale at 3 o'clock today, which means they'll go inside to that top 9 and drop Blackpool outside the top 9. And of course in 18th, to round up that table, MK Dons still only has a point after 2 games. and into the final 6. Shrewsbury Town and Bristol Rovers just outside those relegation places. Rochdale can put Bristol Rovers into the relegation place if they beat Portsmouth today, or if they draw with a sizable goal difference. Wigan Athletic, Crewe and Oxford United, along with Rochdale for now, are still yet to get points on the board. So there we go. That is looking at the scores and the table from League One after match day 2. Now, of course, very, very exciting stuff to look forward to if you're a Lincoln fan. I think Lincoln are really pushing for promotion, and I think that, you know, speaking to a Charlton fan, and I think he put it perfectly when I spoke to him. He said, with so many of the bigger clubs like your Charltons, your Wigans going under these embargoes and these ownership troubles, and the big clubs sort of struggling, and you know, Ipswich, you know, the top of the table, but you know, I think the true test for it, I think if they can stay top of the table, Ipswich, I think the true test for Ipswich will be the second half of the season, whether they can maintain that. But big clubs like the Charltons, the Wigans, the Sunderlands, the Hulls, to an extent, you know, their ownership troubles could affect them. Obviously, Hull not, because, you know, Grant McCann's grabbed that team by the scruff of the neck and they've gone again in League One. So, you know, I think Hull could be a candidate to get promoted. I did predict them to finish just outside the playoffs, but, you know, I think that Grant McCann's got his team together. And I think that I know Rovers fans in the comments are like, why are you praising Grant McCann? He's a snake. I'll admit it, I'll be devil's advocate for League One here, and I'm just going to say that Grant McCann has grabbed the whole team by the scruff of the neck, and they've gone again. So I'll give him credit for that, the fact that they've grabbed the team, 100% winning record so far, and for Hull City fans, hopefully for them, they can, you know, keep that going. For Doncaster, very, very good position in my opinion. If we can finish inside those top 4, then that'd be great. But it should be interesting. Looking further down the leagues, of course, like I said, Rochdale and Portsmouth are still going to play. So Rochdale could put Bristol Rovers into the relegation places going into Matchday 3 next weekend. And, you know, it's going to be an interesting one. Obviously, we've got Bristol Rovers that could be in the relegation zone by the end of today, depending if Rochdale beat Portsmouth, or depending on the goal difference, if they draw. But they might be in the relegation place on alphabetical order. So it should be an interesting watch. I think probably Portsmouth will beat Rochdale, but it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy at all. So now I want to look at next weekend's fixtures and predict them myself. Of course, leaving out the Rovers score against Bristol Rovers, but the rest of them, I'm going to give them a prediction right now. So looking ahead to the Saturday 3 o'clock kickoffs on Match Day 3 commencing the 26th of September 2020. Starting off with Fleetwood Town away at AFC Wimbledon. I am giving that a 3-1 win for Fleetwood. I think Wimbledon will take the lead, but Fleetwood once again will prove why Wimbledon cannot hold on to a lead or cannot hold on to a winning position. Fleetwood will storm. They'll get back after that late Peterborough win this weekend, and they'll storm back to win 3-1 against Wimbledon next weekend. Crewe versus MK Dons. This one's a tough one because MK Dons under Russell Martin, they play some good football, but the results just haven't gone their way. 2-1 loss to Lincoln, of course, drawn against us the previous weekend. So with this one, this could potentially be an entertaining 3-3 draw. I think Crewe could score some goals here, but they have been off the mark on occasions when they could have been on the mark. So I think Crewe will get their shooting boots. I think MK Dons will try and fight for a win, but I think it'll end up being a 3-3 draw. Plymouth, Argyle and Shrewsbury. I don't see Shrewsbury continuing with good form. I think that they lost their last 2 games, including this weekend against Northampton, but I think that Plymouth's going to keep that rock going and not get any good form for Shrewsbury. So I think we're looking here at a 2-1 win for Plymouth. Same scoreline, different team, different promoted team, of course. Gillingham, Blackpool. I'm going to go and give that a 2-1 win for Blackpool. I think Blackpool are just going to edge it over Gillingham. I think Gillingham will still be on the honeymoon from the Wigan win. And I think Blackpool might take advantage of certain mistakes. Swindon, Burton. Burton, good win against Accrington Stanley this weekend. Swindon Town losing 2-0 to Blackpool this weekend. Swindon will bounce back in my opinion. I think they're going to get a nice 2-1 win. Ipswich Town, Rochdale. I'm sorry, Rochdale fans. I'm predicting a 3-0 win for Ipswich Town. It could be more goals, but I'm going to play it safe and go for a 3-0 win. Northampton versus Hull. This one's a difficult one because Keith Curle, along with the injury crisis, has got the Northampton team running like clockwork. And, Hull City, of course, they've got a 100% start as well. So, Northampton, obviously, not 100%. Not 100% because they've obviously got a draw and a win. But, Hull City, you've got a 100% start, but maybe that'll come to an end. So, I think Hull might drop points in this game, and I'm looking here at a 2-2 draw. Obviously, Doncaster Bristol Rovers, I'm not going to predict that because that's going to be in my preview for the Bristol Rovers game on Friday. So moving straight on then to Accrington versus Oxford United, and I'm going to go here with a 2-1 Accrington victory. I think Oxford United are just not going to find their feet. I think Oxford United really have struggled, especially with the playoff heartache just a few months ago. To Wycombe Wanderers, who are doing terrible, by the way, in the Championship, and a lot of people have them favourites to be bottom. But, with Oxford, it was playoff heartache, and I don't think they've really recovered from that. I think Brentford have recovered well from that. They've replaced Ollie Watkins, they've left Benrahma out, they've still got a good win against Huddersfield in the Championship yesterday. So I think that Oxford needs to just learn some lessons from Brentford about dealing with playoff heartache and getting back to winning ways. But I think that Accrington's just going to pounce on that because they've got some brilliant players. Accrington, they've got some fantastic players. Tariq Uwakwe on loan from Chelsea is a star man for me. For Accrington Stanley, but they've got some other fantastic players in the squad that, if I named them all, we'd be here for ages. But Accrington are going to win that 2-1 in my opinion. Next up, big clash. Sunderland-Peterborough at the Stadium of Light. And this one's a tough one, but I think Peterborough aren't going to win this. I'm going to go with a 3-2 Sunderland victory. And finally, for the Saturdays, it is Portsmouth-Wigan. And I'm going to go with a 2-1 Portsmouth victory. I think Wigan will lose again. And I think that Wigan will be in the rot. And then on Sunday at 3 o'clock, it will be Lincoln versus Charlton. And I'm going to go here with, I'm sorry Charlton fans, I'm going to go with a 3-1 Charlton victory. Lincoln victory, sorry. I think it's going to be 3-1 Lincoln. I think that, Lincoln are just going to steamroll over you. Why did I say 3-1 Charlton? It's going to be a 3-1 Lincoln victory. Charlton will just get steamrolled, and it's just not looking good for Charlton right now. But, all they can do is support the team with what they're going through. Same with Wigan. So, Charlton, they can try their best, but I think it's going to be another steamroll victory, especially if they play the 4-5-1 like they did against Doncaster yesterday. If they switch back to the 4-3-3, then it'll be a much closer affair and it could be a draw. But I've got a feeling they'll stick with 4-5-1. They'll stick with the same defence, obviously, because they've got no other defenders. But with Bowyer injured, but I just think Lincoln's going to win. They're going to keep up their 100% start, as will Ipswich. So there we go, that is my predictions going into next weekend. Of course, like I said, left out the Doncaster Bristol Rovers game because that will be predicted on Friday with my match preview. But of course, until that day, we've got loads of DRFC daily reports, and I'm trying to gain loads of old, past and present statistics together, and countries of international players and managers. Just getting loads of different stuff for loads of videos to put out while we're waiting for daily reports. But let's go in then to the official reaction to the game from Darren Moore, the Doncaster Rovers manager. So Rovers secured the brilliant 3-1 triumph, with Magic Gomez continuing his hot scoring run while Tyrese John-Jules grabbed his first goal for the club alongside an own goal caused by Charlie Barker. Moore was pleased to see players having their minds on going for goal when they took possession in range. Now, Darren Moore said to the Free Press, "We spoke about getting into these positions around the opposition area, that we need to be more ruthless in our thinking and more single-minded. I think we've seen that, certainly from Madger's game this season in terms of how he's approached it. Madger has got everything in his armour to be a top midfielder. He's come back, been in the right shape, looked strong, and he's added goals to his game, which is always valuable for a midfielder. Tyrese, I know the ability he has, and certainly when he gets into those areas, you want to show the individual brilliance he's got. He did that. I thought it was a really good team performance. I felt that it epitomised the work we've been doing in the week. It's always nice for the players when you're working hard in the week, then you finish it off with a good away day, a great result and a performance as well. I'm really pleased with the performance and the 3 points. I thought we dominated and controlled the ball for large periods, and I knew the second half that they would change shape. I was pleased for Tyrese to get on the score sheet, and I thought we were worthy winners. So that is Darren Moore's press reaction to the Free Press on the back of that win. Agreed with Darren Moore once again. I agree with everything he said. We were worthy winners in the end. You know, first 20 minutes, 25 minutes, we were on the back foot. Charlton were pressing, quite hard. Tulloch injury didn't help, but Lakilo came on and did the job. And after that first goal, a brilliant goal by Magic Gomez from 25 yards, we just took control after that. Early in the second half, own goal from Charlie Barker. It was a cross from Ben Whiteman as well. It was just a bad defensive error from the youngster, and without the transfer embargo, they will have had a proper right back in there, and not a youngster that's got inexperience. And I think that if Sangard's going to buy Charlton Athletic at the end of November, once the injunction's been taken off, if he doesn't get extended again by the corrupt EFL. If Sangard does buy the club, then they'll be looking to strengthen. And I was watching a Twitter video from a Charlton fan before the game, and I think one of the lines that stuck out to me is, I wouldn't be surprised if Lee Bowyer goes. And I was talking to Tyler Rowlinson about this, because you guys know Tyler from the preview we did around this time last week, believe it or not, for the Charlton game on the channel. You guys know Tyler, and we spoke about it after the game, and he said he won't leave mid-season. If Lee Bowyer's going to leave, it won't be mid-season. But he said if we don't get anything done around the takeover around January, he won't be surprised if Lee Bowyer does walk. And to be fair, I agree with that. I think if nothing's done with the transfers and nothing's done with the club by December, January, I've got no worries why Lee Bowyer shouldn't walk, because he doesn't deserve this. And if he does stay, then fair enough. He's staying loyal, but I don't think fans would blame him if he walked either. So I think Charlton are in a mess right now. Like I said, I predict a 3-1 win for Lincoln next weekend, so I don't think it'll get any easier for Charlton. I think they will begin this rot, and I think, unfortunately, the Rovers have started the rot. So, but I agree with Rovers. I agree with Moore, everything they've said. Oh my God, Tyrese John Jules. I put it on social media. Forget DCL for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. We got TJJ, Tyrese John Jules, and magnificent, mortastic performance. Absolutely mortastic. I'm going to stop with those names now. But, yeah, just very good win. Very good win yesterday. And then I agree with Darren Moore's thoughts. I think we did control the ball well. I think we did hold the ball well. We were ruthless. He praised a ruthless Rovers. And we didn't, transfer embargo and club owners, bad or not, we showed on the pitch that we were ruthless and we've got a dangerous side to us. So hopefully the bookies aren't going to write us off too quickly now, because I think it was just before we made all those signings that the bookies sort of wrote us off pretty quickly, saying, they're not going to be in the in the chase for promotion. 2 games in, we're 4th place and we're unbeaten in the league. I know it's 2 games, but it's still good signs. So the fact that we're unbeaten. So hopefully we can keep that going. I think Bristol Rovers, I'm going to give my predicted scoreline on Friday, but I think we're expecting a steamroll in my opinion. I think Ben Garner, James Garner then has gone to Watford as a player. No, the manager Ben Garner, who's manager of Bristol Rovers, just outside the relegation zone, like I said, can go into the relegation zone if Rochdale beat Portsmouth today. And, I definitely think that what we're looking at here is, a manager who's only won 2 in 20-something games, or 20-odd games for Bristol Rovers. So I think that this should hopefully be an absolute steamroll, especially with the difference in position. And hopefully, if Lincoln, Ipswich and Hull drop points, we could go top of the league. And that's not being, that's not being optimistic or enthusiastic. That's me being realistic, statistically wise. If Hull lose in their game, and Ipswich lose their game, and Lincoln lose to Charlton on the Sunday, we could go top of the league. And to be fair, Lincoln played Charlton on the Sunday, so if Hull and Ipswich lose next weekend, and we win, we're already top of the league, and we've just got to wait for Lincoln to lose to Charlton if they do. So we could, if results go our way and we win, we could go temporarily top of the league at the end of Saturday next week. So, you know, I think the pressure's going to be on us to deliver again, but I've got no worries that we can't deliver. We can deliver, absolutely. So, there we go. So, thank you very much, guys, for watching this DRFC Daily Reports from the end of Match Week 2. So, of course, Rochdale-Portsmouth kicking off at 3 o'clock today. It should be kicking off about an hour or so before, an hour before this video's gone up. So, give it another hour and Rochdale-Portsmouth will have kicked off by now. And, you know, I think that, you know, it should be an interesting game. I mean, Rochdale-Portsmouth, I'm going to predict 2-1 win for Portsmouth. I think Rochdale might just not edge a victory, and I think Rochdale will lose again. And they'll be in a relegation rot. But thank you very much, guys. I'm the CHALL. Please like, comment, subscribe. And for now, guys, goodbye.